to our virtual group practice session. So today we're going to start off with the practice text, the Inseparability of the Spiritual Master with Avalokiteshvara. So I hope you've all downloaded that text. It's in the notes below if you haven't yet. So we'll start in the same way, always first adjusting our motivation. So please think in this way, that the purpose of my life is to benefit all sentient beings. And in order that I may be able to benefit them in the best way, I myself must first achieve the state of enlightenment, characterized by the complete pacification, eradication of all faults of the mind, and the full development of all good qualities. Then and only then will I have the skills, ability, knowledge to lead sentient beings from the oceans of samsaric suffering to the highest state of enlightenment as quickly and as effectively as possible. And so the attainment of enlightenment is not without causes and conditions. So if we want to achieve enlightenment, we have to accumulate those causes, namely the collections of merit and transcendental wisdom. And we also need to purify our minds of all the obscurations, both the obscurations to liberation and the obscurations to omniscience. And therefore, we're going to engage in this group practice here today. And then also looking at the mother sentient beings, both in this world and then just imagining in the other realms of existence, drowning in the ocean of samsaric suffering, and particularly the beings of this world, facing many problems due to disease, and of course natural disaster, war, economic problems. And so many of these beings aren't in a position to collect merit or purify their minds of the causes of the suffering, the negative karma. So we're doing this practice not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of all sentient beings, to help beings purify their minds of all negative karma and obscurations, and also to help sentient beings accumulate merit, the cause of every success up to and including the state of complete enlightenment. Then we also do this practice for the long lives of the spiritual friends, Avalokiteshvara Guru Yoga book. So the preliminaries, first going for refuge. So rather than visualizing like in the Lama the Buddha surrounded by all, the other Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and so forth, here we just visualize Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, but thinking that he is actually the embodiment of all the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, all the three jewels of refuge. So thinking that his body represents the Sangha jewel, his speech represents the Dharma, and his omniscient mind represents the Buddha, the Dharmakaya. Then thinking about the qualities of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and thinking how those qualities then are able to protect us from the fears of samsara, and then also thinking that all sentient beings are sitting with us in the space around us, visualizing all sentient beings in human form, and then thinking that as we do this practice, all sentient beings are doing this practice with us. And so now as we go for refuge, think that all sentient beings are now going for refuge to the three jewels with us as well. Namo Guru De, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Guru De, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Guru De, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. In the Supreme Awakened One, His truth, and the spiritual community, I seek refuge until becoming enlightened. By the merit from practicing giving and the other perfections, may I accomplish full awakening for the benefit of all. In the Supreme Awakened One, His truth, and the spiritual community, I seek refuge until becoming enlightened. By the merit from practicing giving and other perfections, may I accomplish full awakening for the benefit of all. In the Supreme Awakened One, His truth, and the spiritual community, I seek refuge until becoming enlightened. By the merit from practicing giving and other perfections, may I accomplish full awakening for the benefit of all. May all sentient beings possess happiness and the cause of happiness. May all sentient beings be parted from suffering and the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings never be parted from happiness that has no suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity without attachment or aversion, from near or far. May all sentient beings possess happiness and the cause of happiness. May all sentient beings be parted from the suffering and the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings never be parted from the happiness that has no suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity without attachment or aversion, from near or far. May all sentient beings possess happiness and the cause of happiness. May all sentient beings be parted from suffering and the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings never be parted from happiness that has no suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity without attachment or aversion, from near or far. Page 5. So now visualizing the space that we're doing this practice as a Buddha Pure Land, as we're about to invite and invoke the Buddhas to come to this place. May the surface of the earth in every direction be stainless and pure, without roughness or fault, as smooth as the palm of a child's soft hand, and those visualized, like a cloud of the peerless offerings of Samantabhadra, pervade and encompass the vastness of space. So now as we recite this offering cloud Dhanani mantra, please think that the offerings that you've laid out in your home altar, as well as the offerings at all the other centers, and all the unowned things, like, for example, the stars in the sky, everything that is beautiful in the world and the universe, then as we recite the mantra, those multiply, pervade out, and eventually pervade the entire realm of space. Om Namo Bhagavate
Vajrasara Brahmadame Tathagataya Arahate Samyasambuddhaya Tayata Om Vajra Vajra Maha Vajra Maha Teja Vajra Maha Vijaya Maha Bodhicitta Vajra Maha Bodhi Menda Vasangramana Vajra Sarva Karma Avarana Vishuddhana Vajra Soha.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vajrasara Brahmadame Tathagataya Arahate Samyasambuddhaya Tayata Om Vajra Vajra Maha Vajra Maha Teja Vajra Maha Vijaya Vajra Maha Bodhicitta Vajra Maha Bodhi Menda Vasangramana Vajra Sarva Karma Avarana Vishuddhana Vajra Soha.
Om
Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Brahmadane Tathagataya Arahate Samyasambuddhaya Tayata Om Vajra Vajra Maha Vajra Maha Teja Vajra Soha.
By the force of the truth of the three jewels of refuge, by the firm inspiration of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by the power of the Buddhas who have fully completed their collections of both good merit and insight, by the might of the void, inconceivable and pure, may all these offerings be hereby transformed into their actual nature of voidness. So now think that all of the offerings that you visualize pervading space have become just so as you visualized, and therefore become, objects that are able to be enjoyed and offered to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Buddha Dharma and Sangha, statues through the scriptures of the 10 directions, who are all one in essence with our root guru. In the space of the Dharmakaya of spontaneous, great spontaneous bliss, in the midst of billowy clouds of magnificent offerings, upon a sparkling jewel throne supported by 8 stone lions, on a seat composed of lotus in bloom, the sun and the moon, Vajradhara Master, kind in all 3 ways, holy Losam Tenzin Gyatso, endowed with glory of faith and complexion, radiant smiling face. Your right hand is your heart, and a gesture expounding Dharma, holds the stem of one white lotus that supports a book and a sword. Your left hand resting in meditative pose, holding a 1,000-spoke wheel. You are clothed in the 3 saffron robes of a monk, and you're crowned with the pointed golden head of a bandit. Your aggregate sensory spheres, senses and objects, as well as your limbs, are a mandala complete with the 5 Buddhas and their consorts, male and female bodhisattvas as the protectors. Encircled by a halo of 5 brilliant colors, my master is seated in full Vajra posture, sending forth a network of cloud-like self-emanations to tame the minds of all sentient beings. Within his heart sits Avalokiteshvara, a wisdom being, with 1 face and 4 ornaments and heavenly raiment. Over his left shoulder is an antelope's skin is draped, and cross-legged he is seated on a silver moon and lotus. The white syllable Hri, concentration being at his heart, emits brilliant colored light, and all the 10 directions, many lights shine out in myriad directions, inviting the 3 jewels of refuge to dissolve into him, transforming him into the collected essence of the objects of refuge. So let's just take a moment on our guru in that aspect. So we have our guru in the ordinary form that we normally see him, and then at his heart is forearmed Avalokiteshvara, and then at Avalokiteshvara's heart is the seed syllable Hri, and then the 3 places of the guru's body are marked with Om An Hum, which went out and invited all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions that then dissolved into our guru. Okay, so now the 7-limb prayer. Prostrating. Your liberating body is fully adorned with all the signs of a Buddha. Your melodious speech, complete with all 60 rhythms, flows without hesitation. Your vast, profound mind, filled with wisdom and compassion, is beyond all conception. I prostrate to the wheel of these three secret adornments of your body, speech, and mind. So now remember, when we do each of the 7 limbs, don't just recite the words, but also do the corresponding meditation. So here we visualize that we're prostrating to our guru, remembering the qualities of his body, speech, and mind. And then we also think that we're prostrating with numberless bodies, huge, covering every single atom of the earth. And we can also think that the sentient beings that we visualize in the space around us are also offering prostration. So next, the limb of offering. Material offerings of my own and those of others, actual objects and those that I visualize, body and wealth, and all virtues amassed through 3 times, I offer to you upon visualizing the oceans of clouds like Samanthabhaja's offerings. So here again, I think that we're making the offerings, the material offerings, the actual offerings, those that we've laid out here, and those at the other students' homes, the other altars at the Dharma centers. And then the visualized offerings that we visualize pervading the entire realm of space, then our body, our wealth, virtues amassed through the 3 times. Like clouds of Samanthabhaja's offerings. So then also think how then the omniscient mind of the guru perceives these offerings. So although we've laid out water bowls on our altar, to us appears like water, to our guru, uncontaminated, blissful wisdom nectar. Zakme Yeshigi Dutsi.